Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Um, Today I want to talk about, I don't even want to give an introduction because I just feel like introductions just fucking kill the vibe of all my videos, and then I get all tongue twisted and the rest of the video doesn't flow. So fuck the introduction, excuse my language, pardon my French. Let's just get right into it. My channel name is Empress Song. It's something I've been thinking about changing for a while, but it is something that it's not my original channel name. When I started this channel, I just used a nickname, a moniker that I wanted to be known by online. And then I changed that again because it was a little too close to my real name for my liking, and I get weird about people knowing my personal details, like, you know, on the internet. But also at the time when I changed my channel name, I was feeling a connection to the Empress. I was, just getting sort of deep into my tarot journey, and I was really feeling a resonance, and an appreciation for the archetype of the Empress, in my life. And it's not because I see myself as the Empress per se. It's not that I see myself embodying the Empress. No, far from it. It's more so it's the Empress has always been more so an aspirational, an aspiration of mine in terms of a state of being. And that is because I've always wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. That's a big part, I think, of my journey and my lessons here on Earth in this present lifetime, dimension, whatever, if you subscribe to all of those philosophical concepts. I do struggle with, I'm a Taurus, so I'm naturally a very sensual person, and I'm easily, overstimulated, and by my senses, but seeking balance. Seeking balance is something that I look for. So perhaps maybe even a more Libran expression of that Venus energy. But yeah, comfortable in my own skin is something that I wanted to learn. Comfortable being a woman, actually. And that sounds, I know it's gonna sound not weird, but like I'm not queer, I'm not on that spectrum, but I definitely resonate and understand this feeling of growing up and almost feeling like not connected, fully connected to your gender. So I always struggled with just being a girl, being a woman, and all that entails. So yes, the Empress for me is very, very much inextricably linked to gender. And I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm bypassing or being insensitive to people who are like non-binary and stuff. I'm so ignorant to that whole, I'm ignorant to a lot of that. And even just me saying that I sound like an asshole, and I'm sorry, I apologize. Life is short, and I only have so much time to educate myself on all the socio-political issues of the day while trying to live and survive out here in this dog-eat-dog world. Yeah. The Empress for me has always been very much inextricably linked to femininity. Um, as an archetype, right? Growing up in Bermuda, we are very influenced by the cultures and just the culture of the Caribbean. A lot of our cultural traditions and customs and all that overlap, particularly when it comes to music and stuff like that. So growing up, I listened to a lot of reggae, a lot of conscious reggae. Obviously, it's all throughout the islands that you hear that. I really have an affinity, particularly for conscious reggae, which is more spiritual in nature, I would say, than just like, your mundane, like dancehall reggae, or lovers rock type reggae. Um, a lot of Bermudians we are culturally we idolize Rastafarianism as a culture. I would say there's definitely a good portion of Bermudians who are like initiated into, who are like proper Rastas, and they know the more intricacies of the religion and the tradition, all that, because it's definitely like a full on religion in a lot of senses. And today is being real it's trendy right now because everybody like wants to smoke weed and listen to and put their hair in locks and stuff like that. So I understand that there's a superficial commercial aspect to Rastafarianism as well that a lot of people just kind of dip their toes in, and I think in Bermuda you get that mix of both. But I'm saying all this to say that growing up, like I was, the term Empress, as it's known in the Caribbean, has an association with it just automatically it automatically has an association with sort of like the Rasta, with Rastafarianism, and how the Empress is seen as kind of like, I want to say, like this this bride of the emperor, and she is archetypally a noble woman, a virtuous woman, a woman who's not going to be who's not easily seduced by Babylon and modern society, right? She's like old school, she's virtuous. And it's the Rastafarian, I feel like now that I've gotten older and I've learned more about a more divine feminine centered spirituality, I see that in all the ways that Rastafarianism has been is very patriarchal, and how when I went through that period of my life where I was like, I don't even want to say I wanted to be a Rasta, because it wasn't like that. It's like I never really fully like looked into being a Rasta, but I just feel like everybody, it's very typical. Everybody in the islands, they go through this phase, this brock out phase, where it's like you're coming out of high school, you're coming out of people want to adopt a more conscious sort of spirituality, and we're often attracted to Rastafarianism because it's what we see as the alternative to the sort of patriarchal, colonial religions that were enforced upon us. But that honestly, whoa, honestly, that was a whole side tangent. I'm just giving you some background context as to my connection with the Empress and how I came to name my channel Empress Song. I see the Empress as a vessel. Um, that's really important for me in my understanding of the Empress. She is a vessel. And that's why I say I want to connect with the Empress, because I always wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin and to learn to appreciate my body for the vessel that it is, you know, when that Christian saying, scripture, my body is the Lord's temple. It's always stuck with me, has always stuck with me. It's something I always come back to and contemplate on what that means. My body is the Lord's temple, a temple of the Lord, you know. This is what I see. This is what I think of when I think of the Empress, this association. And I wanted to be a vessel. I want to be a vessel for the divine. I want to be a vessel for divine expression. Divine Venusian expression. And that is how I came to, that's how I came up with the name Empress Song, because, you know, a bottle, you know, when you like blow on the top of a bottle and an empty bottle and it makes that sound, because of the air, and it makes a note, you know, and you can play music on instruments because they are vessels for air. I guess, I don't know, they're vessels for sound. So that's how those are the associations I was making when I came to rename my channel a few years ago, and just really wanting to step into and embrace myself as a vessel. So get more in touch with my artistic side, get it more in touch with my create more music and all that. But I guess yeah, just to be an instrument for the divine. So I've been struggling though to be creative these last few years, and I suppose it was because I was at a time where I had so many ideas, and maybe they were taking too long to form, too long for me to bring them into manifestation, that I ended up actually getting pregnant, because I was just channeling the Empress archetype that much. I was so focused on the Empress as an archetype, like I got pregnant with twins. Now, I know people have issues with the Pregnant Empress and the Pregnant Empress association, but I'm sorry, you guys, I stand a Pregnant Empress for these reasons. And it's not because I enjoy pregnancy. Like, honestly, pregnancy sucks. I carried 2 pregnancies, and you know, I've carried 2 pregnancies to term, and both of them, the first one wasn't so bad, but neither of them were comfortable. My second pregnancy with the twins, I had twins. As you guys know, I had 2 fucking babies. I carried 2 babies at the same time. So the Empress is not, to me, the Empress is not necessarily this. It is comfort. It's this dance between comfort and discomfort. Why? Because the Empress is all about feeling, and it is all about it's all about embodiment and feeling and conception. I have a lot of ideas here, and it might seem like I'm jumping all over the place, but just bear with me. Just bear with me. So there's an old reggae song an old conscious reggae song. I can't even remember the name. But there's this one line, and it always stuck with me. And it goes like this. Man was made to suffer. Woman was made to feel the pain. Man was made to suffer. Woman was made to feel the pain. To me, that sums up perfectly the difference between the Empress and the Emperor. So the Empress is, you know, the same thing is happening to both of them, but the Empress is feeling it. The Empress is passive. She feels the pain while the Emperor suffers. When you are pregnant, you are uber hypersensitive. You feel everything. You smell everything. All of your senses are super heightened. And I guess it's the same around, you know, around the time when you're ovulating as well. I would imagine your senses are kind of heightened as well. You don't have to be a woman to obviously relate with the Empress, or but I do feel strongly that the Empress should be depicted as a woman. For this, you know, for this reason. I feel like I'm trying to make some political statement here, and I'm not trying to like make some statement or like stand up in for anything other than my own beliefs. So just before I started to make this video, I pulled some cards to like, because I just feeling so much resistance around creating. And I pulled this card, this Seven of Wands, and it made a lot of sense right away. When I pulled it, I realized I have on my channel, I feel like I've got to stand up for something sometimes on a subconscious level, and I'm nervous to do that because I'm afraid to reveal too much of what I really think about stuff, I guess, and maybe be canceled. So I've been like just very reserved lately, and just resting, keeping my thoughts to myself. But I've also felt very much exhausted, frustrated, and just over it all. Why am I losing this will to create? Why am I now, after like 3 years, 2-3 years after renaming my channel The Empress, and, you know, going on this whole journey, internal journey to connect and to awaken her within me, why is it now that I'm wanting to disconnect? And I have been wanting to disconnect, guys. I've been thinking a lot about deleting my channel, deleting all my videos, or just restarting, rebranding, like, you know, just changing my channel name. I just want a new start. But I do this. I tend to jump ship. And I'm going to explain to you why I think that is after pulling these cards. These are the cards I pulled in my reading. This is just a card I pulled out as a significator. By the way, this is the Tarot de Saint Croix, one of my oldest but goodies. So why is it that I feel I'm ready to disconnect now? It's all a part of my journey to channel the Empress. And I'm realizing that this is just affirming the cyclical nature of the Empress. Empress, we know, relates to Venus, is ruled by Venus, relates to Taurus and Libra. Obviously, as I'm a Taurus, I'm partial, so I feel like the Empress is really just about Taurus predominantly, but she's also about Libra. That is true. But, you know, what's on the opposite side of Taurus, right? Taurus, the opposite is Scorpio. It's an axis. They're two sides of the same coin. So yes, there's life in the body, enjoying the body and soaking up everything in this life with your senses, using all your senses to live your life to the fullest. And then there's death, because everything comes to an end. And I pulled this 10 of Swords as a clarifier after I had pulled these cards, because I was wondering, what am I cutting through? What am I cutting through to? And yeah, this 10 of Swords just affirmed to me the cyclical nature of this experience. This experience of the Empress. Hang on a second. Hi, sorry about that. I just had a visitor, but we're going to continue on anyway. So yeah, realizing the cyclical nature of life. Sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you want to change. Sometimes you want to end it. You have to let things die, yes. But life goes on. To me, a pregnant empress is important. I know people have issues with the pregnant empress. Lennon Smith, she put out a good video the other day where she kind of contemplated all the different ways that empress could be shown. And she was just responding to conversation that was already circulating around, you know, people's being bored of the pregnant empress. And I get it. I get your arguments. But for me, and I think tarot should be personal. Everybody has their personal associations. But for me, a pregnant empress is very important, because it's not so much the motherhood aspect of empress that I find so inspiring or necessary or pertinent to the meaning, underlying to the meaning. It's the fertility. It's the aspect of fertility. It's not the aspect of having babies. It is the aspect of fertility and being open to receiving, open to conception. And just to unpack that a little bit, one funny thing that Lennon's noticed, she pointed out that I hadn't really considered before, is the fact that the Empress is in this sort of really comfortable robe, and it's like a pajamas, and she's just like super relaxed. And I thought that was interesting, because yes, I associate the Empress with comfort in her own skin, but there's also a necessary suffering, because, you know, all these things, all these concepts have they encompass a whole, I just think they encompass like a whole sort of polarity, bigger access of thought. I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry. Delete that. Delete. But what I was trying to say is, okay, what I'm trying to say is this. Years ago, when I was working for Bermuda.com, which is a magazine, local magazine, just a visitor guide to what's going on in Bermuda. You know, if you're a tourist, you come to the island, you would pick it up and see what to check out, restaurants, sites to see, all that type of stuff. So I would go out and I would interview tourism stakeholders, people who had business, you know, who were offering something that was quintessentially Bermudian, or just just a draw for a tourist visiting the island. And one of the people who I had the honor, the pleasure of interviewing on a number of occasions was a perfumer, the master perfumer at Lily Bermuda, which is the Bermuda Perfumery, our one and only perfumery, and also, fun fact, one of the few remaining true perfume houses in the world, because most perfume houses actually, all the perfumes are actually made outside at a factory, but a true perfume house would make everything in-house and sort of like by hand. It's very alchemical, it's very magical, it's very old world, and it's very fascinating. And I had the amazing pleasure of being able to interview this perfumer, and most of the perfumes in the Bermuda line, because it's, you know, it's all perfume inspired by Bermuda and like capturing the essence of Bermuda, they were named after flowers. There's like a whole line named after flowers, like in their signature collection. So it's a perfume called Frangipani, which is one of my favorite flowers ever. A perfume called Bermudiana, which is one of our flowers, and you know, it was just a bunch of them, like a few different perfumes, where the name of the perfume, the name of the fragrance was just the name of the flower. So I asked her, the perfumer, while I was interviewing her, I said, so, you know, what's the process of a perfumer? Is it that you're trying to recreate the essence of the flower? Are you trying to recreate that smell when you create the perfume? And she said, no, 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 no. Sorry, that just made me like a little emotional just thinking about it, what I'm going to say. But she said, sorry. She said, you know, she said, perfumers are artists. An artist does not try to recreate what he sees in nature. An artist is inspired by nature. You know, you can't. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm getting emotional a little bit. I must be ovulating. But she said, you can't, you can't outdo God. You know? Like, there's literally... Sorry. She said, there's literally nothing more beautiful than what's already in existence, so to speak. And the job of an artist is not to try and compete or recreate this beauty, but it's just to convey it through their lens. To translate the beauty that they see in nature and bring it to the world, just bring it in a different way. Translate the beauty that they see in nature through their art. So she said, you know, regardless of your medium, you could be a painter, you could be a writer, you could be a perfumer, you could be a musician. She said, and what she used a word so specific. She said, we suffer to create. An artist suffers to share their vision. And I was like, wow, what a interesting choice of expression. I loved it. And she said, yeah. And she was like, no, she said, there's great suffering that goes on in art. There's great suffering that goes on in creation. And this is why I'm getting emotional. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, guys. I hate this. I hate crying. But this is all a part of the story. This is all a part of the story and my journey and my understanding of what the Empress is. Because I suffer too. Being a mother, being a creative, being an artist, wanting to be an artist is painful. I get so deeply what she is saying. So it's all a beautiful paradox, isn't it? Being comfortable with the cycles of life, with the ephemerality of life, being comfortable with nature in all its beauty, in all its glory, and all of its hideousness. Because let's be honest, nature can be scary as fuck. Nature can be gross as fuck. But the Empress sees the beauty, finds somehow to extract the beauty in all of that. That's how I feel. That's what I think. She feels it all. She encompasses it all in a non-judgmental way. Because for her, it's all a process of downloading all that cosmic sperm, I guess, hoping one of them is going to take and that she will birth something new, that she will birth something beautiful out of it. The Empress. So I recognize that I have always been in a fertile state, in that I'm constantly having ideas, new things I want to do, etc., etc. And the process of trying to manifest all these desires, all these feelings, all these insemination. It's uncomfortable. So there's the paradox there. It's uncomfortable. And here I am. If you watch my last video, you'll know that I'm coming into a Hanged Man year. This is my Hanged Man year. And when you add up, wait a second. Yes. Sorry. When you add up 10 and 1 and 1, you get 3. So it's a Hangman year for me, but it's also an Empress year for me. And I'm finding a beautiful relationship between the Hangman and the Empress. And that is the relationship, and that is allowing me to appreciate the fact that the Empress is not all about creativity. We tend to see the Empress as like, oh, being super creative and super productive and blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is creative potential. The Empress is creative potential, but it is also that's, to me, that's why the pregnancy, the Empress being pregnant is so important, because that 10 months, that period during which you are developing, the period between from when you conceive something to manifesting it is a waiting game. It is a hand-manged period. True or false? Am I right or am I right? And honestly, guys, I'm not like a tarot fucking scholar. Like, I'm read like 2 books on tarot. I really haven't done like any extensive tarot reading. I watch a shit ton of tarot videos, and I've been playing with cards for quite a few years now. So I'm not like this is my personal gnosis, is what I'm trying to say. This is all just my personal gnosis, but that is what tarot is about. You meditate on it, and the meanings take on new meaning and new layers as you form connections with them. So I was watching another video where somebody said that they prefer to see, no, let me not go there. I prefer to see the Empress as either a pregnant woman. She doesn't even really look pregnant here. More so than a mother. When I see the Empress when the Empress is depicted as a mother, to me, yes, Empress has to do with mothering. And I see how that plays out, the process of mothering after the baby is born. I see how the process of mothering plays out when I look at the progression of the 3s across all the suits. But personally, I prefer to see the Empress as depicted as pregnant, because it's more so the conception and the potential, and the, this encompassing nature that the Empress has, the ability to hold everything, to feel the pain, to feel the joy and the pain. And if not, I like to see the Empress, this is from the Dark Days Tarot. If not, I like to see the Empress as this kind of just mother, like depicted like as a Mother Earth type figure, where it's like, that dark, that Mother Earth, that Mother Goddess type figure. Or I like to see the Empress. I also appreciate an Empress that's like very sexy, like very sexual, and she's depicted in a way where she's looking very comfortable in her skin, in her body, and with her sexuality and all that type of stuff. So yes, I am biased, and maybe I am gender insensitive, or I don't even know what the word is, because I like a very feminine Empress, and preferably, like 8 to 9 months pregnant. That's my ideal Empress. And it's not because I enjoy mothering. Like, honestly, mothering is really fucking hard. It really sucks. And it is a daily suffering. Like, it is a daily suffering. But I don't want to, if I use this video to talk about my connection with the Empress and motherhood, we'll be here for like another 40 minutes. So I'm not going to do that today. But sorry, I'm just looking through this other deck because I want to show you like a picture of my ideal Empress. But yes, it's important. These things are important to me because to me, the Empress is is really, yes, it's creativity, but it's not creativity in this sense of getting shit done, because that is, to me, that's the emperor there. Once the energy goes out and it becomes active, then we're moving into emperor, right? Man was made to suffer, woman was made to feel the pain. This is like my ideal empress. Look at her. I love it. And you don't know what she's got in her belly. And let me tell you, pregnancy you don't always carry pregnancies to full term. And that is a part of the Empress too. That is a part of the cyclical nature of the Empress. Sometimes you have stillborn babies. Sometimes you may decide to abort your baby along the way. Sometimes you have a baby and later on that baby dies. It's all a part of the process of life and of the Empress. But the Empress allows and accepts. She allows and accepts. And she surrenders to the suffering, because she knows that through suffering, there is the potential to birth something really beautiful and earth-changing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop talking now, because this video is 40 minutes and it was really drawn out. But I've been meaning to make this video for forever, like literally for this video I've been trying to make it for like 2 years, and the more I meditate on it, the more thoughts I've had about the Empress. So it's all just kind of bubbling up now. Will I keep this channel? I think so. I think so. I may consider changing my channel name in future. I may consider changing the direction of my channel, but I don't want to. This channel is something that I've given birth to, and I don't want to abandon this baby. I don't want to abandon this baby yet. It needs my nurturing. And we'll get there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me just FYI, the decks I used today are, this is the Agni Rurich tarot. It's a mini tarot with art by this Russian painter, Agni Rurich. Beautiful art, very contemplative, very serene. I like to break this out around this time of the year. I don't know why. It's like, I call it like my Lent deck. I feel it's very like contemplative and appropriate for Lenten season. But anyway, not that I'm like a practicing Catholic like that, because I'm not, but I am traditionally a Catholic. Tarot de Saint Croix, which I showed you. This here is a oracle card from the Tantric Dakini Oracle, and this is a card from the Dark Days or Tarot. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this and were able to extract something useful from it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.